It is time to kick our culinary skills up a notch using science in the kitchen. Our next guest is the host of a brand new documentary, Chef Secrets: The Science of Cooking, which gives us the scoop on how to be a better cook. Take a look.
Having a better understanding of the science that you use in cooking makes you cook smarter.
On the menu, appetizers, entrees, sides, and desserts.
Oh my goodness, joining us now is the host of the documentary, Anthony Morgan. Good morning to you, Anthony. You know, when we think of science, we think of baking, right? And when we think of cooking, we think of like, oh, it's a form of art. But okay, so I want to start off first, Anthony, talking about what you do. You're a molecular research scientist and the first to admit not much of a cook. What were you surprised to learn when making this documentary?
Well, I'd say the first thing that really surprised me was just how easy and how much of an impact some of these small tips can make in your cooking. So during the pandemic, I was experimenting with making my own salad dressing. I've got an example of it here. I would mix a little bit of oil with some vinegar. In other words, oil with a little bit of water and some acid in it. Yeah. And I'd shake it up just like this. And I thought I was done. And what you'll notice, though, if you wait a couple of seconds, is that my salad dressing would separate into its two ingredients again. It's already starting to happen there. Yeah. And that's because we all know that oil and water don't mix. They're different kinds of molecules. And so if you want them to mix, you need to bind them together somehow. And to do that, you can use something called an emulsifier, something that binds things together. And one of the things that surprised me most is that mustard makes a really great emulsifier. So if I you can see I've got a little bit of mustard in there. If I shake it up, it will make you a much more even and consistent salad dressing. And that's just one of the things that I learned from some of our master chefs. That one I got from Nick Sharma. But there are tons of degrees you can get in food science. It was incredible.
It is actually incredible, and that's actually one of my favorite salad dressings. Just 3 ingredients, a little bit of salt and pepper. Yeah. But it's like, it's delicious. It's classic. Okay, so you go deep to discover the science behind ingredients, like you just demonstrated, and dishes. And we see you baking bread from scratch. This is something even I haven't done. You also swallow red hot chili peppers. We hear from ice cream scientists, which I did not know that it was a thing. A food consultant with a PhD in mashed potato also didn't realize this was a thing. So can you share some ways science can help us be actual better cooks?
Yeah, I would say, to me, the first and foremost thing we should do is to change the way we think. To me, science is not what you think, it's how. And most people think of the meals they cook as either pass-fail, either it was great or it wasn't. But I think a better way to look at cooking is to look at it as an experiment. Each meal you make is a data point that tells you, all right, I'm on the right trajectory or I'm not. And so just that mindset shift I found has made me a much better cook because I'm much more willing to experiment and play around. Yeah. And it can go a long way.
I think it's easy to see when you're about to burn something too.
Yeah.
Very easy.
That's a classic of mine. But there are plenty more tips like that. I would say something like coating your vegetables in a little bit of olive oil after you cook them. It helps to keep them fresh a lot longer. Because we know that oil prevents, oil and water don't mix. And so if you just cook your vegetables, you'll notice they're giving off a lot of steam. And that means they're losing a lot of the moisture that keeps them crispy and keeps that awesome texture. And so coating them in olive oil really it goes a long way.
Okay, so I mean, we know people are cooking a lot at home these days as well under lockdown, so perhaps that's one of the tips that they can use. I did not know that. I'm going to try that. But I really want to get to this demo before we run out of time. So before we go, you're going to show us how science can help us cook onions faster. What's the secret here? Because I love making my curry with onions, and sometimes they take way too long to cook, then they stink up the house. So show me how we can do that fast.
They really do. So I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can, but it turns out that if you want to cut the cooking time for your onions nearly in half, all you need is a little bit of this. And that's baking soda right there. It turns out that the process of caramelizing onions is sensitive to pH. And so adding a little bit of baking soda to just one of these, literally just a pinch. You don't want to add too much because it will start to affect the flavor. That baking soda is kind of a catalyst that will help to speed up that reaction. So if I turn up the temperature here a little bit.
That's it. You cut it in half. Amazing. I'm going to try all these things. I'm going to oil my vegetables after they're cooked, and I'm going to do that. Anthony Morgan, thank you so much. Chef Secrets: The Science of Cooking is streaming now on CBC Gem.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.